Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and I'm doing a special video. I'm doing a special real talk because I brought in two of my homies because we need some real talk. Because a lot of my fans are wondering, Andy, why are you taking this so personally? What's with this deal about this Snyderverse not being restored? Well, you know what? I want to get into it, and I brought Jody of Jody's Corner and Luis from Nerd Report. The trio is here, the Trinity, us united. I'm inspired by you, Jody, because while I tipped you off on that, I was like, Jody, you got to react to this immediately. As I watched your video and was enjoying the hell out of your reactions, you got to a certain point in that video where you got me emotional too, and I realized I didn't really explain to the audience, and I want to get the real talk as to why this is personal for us, because I don't think people get it. I try to avoid it and just move on and give you my reactions and I do things, but this specific thing is personal to us. And Jody, if you want to, can you allude to people who haven't checked out your full video, and they should. I have it right here, guys. If you haven't watched Jody's video, please go check out. And Sarnoff is my hero. The video right here is fire. Go check it out. But Jody, you were saying this is personal for you. Why?
Today is a beautiful day because for 5 years, since March 25th, 2016, I have been against Snyder's vision for DC films. I'm a lifelong DC fan, and for 5 years being against it, his toxic side of his fandom, known as the Snyder cult, has been spewing death threats at me, cursing my dead daughter, my dead dog, giving me death threats, wanting me to get coronavirus, it's so on and so forth. Toxic bullying for 5 years alone that I've had to deal with this until, later on when me and you linked up. But for those 4 years solo, to where everyone else on YouTube was terrified to do it, so I did it solo, standing against the toxic fandom and against the Snyderverse. And today's news almost made me just fall to my knees with just tears. This is one of the best days I've had in 2021. I'm so happy right now.
And it's like, I want to echo that because look, there's a lot of Snyder fans and DC fans out there who enjoy this take on the films, and they've been respectful, and this is not about them. And there's so many people who react when we get excited about sort of the cult falling, I say, the cult. There is a cult. But when they get called out and they take a hit, I take pleasure in that. And anybody who sort of gets annoyed at us taking pleasure at that, you got to look in the mirror and figure out why, because we're not talking to you. And there's so many people in the DC fan base and even Zack Snyder fan base who get very emotionally upset when we call out the negative toxicity. And to me, that's part of the problem. You are enabling it. You've been enabling it for years. And I got to echo what Jody says. Jody knows the real issue here. This is real talk. Luis does too. He's here as well. But there have been moments where I had to step back. The fear got to me, where I was like, I can't take this amount of hate, this amount of toxicity that these people out there just send our way. And I try to avoid it for you because it's like, we're not victims here. It's like, oh, it's dry. This is the kind of drama I try not to play into. But guys, it's real. Like when you're sitting there all day and people are telling you, bringing back think of the worst thing that I've been through. I'm trying not to use those words, but hammering you with false stories that then they just bring back to the thing. Oh, what do your kids think that you're this? What about this, Andy? Oh, I hope your kids never die. When they bring in your kids, they bring in the worst parts about you. They wish you death. I had someone post an address that wasn't mine, but someone close to me on Twitter to try and get me because of my reaction to Jared Leto's Joker recently. Dude, it's insane what this fan base does. And I've been in this community for a long time. I've been lucky enough, ups and downs in my community, but I've faced every community in my time of fandom. I've never, ever seen a toxic fan base like the Snyder cult, the people who are the worst of the worst, who are there and just, it's like the God of Snyder, whatever he says. They don't care about the movie. They only care about defending Zack. And it's such a scary place. And they are the ones that made this vocal. And I want to bring this up to conversation because that's why, I'm happy today because that audience shouldn't have been rewarded. Now, it's complicated because I understand there's a lot of good fans that sort of got through and got to get this, and they're happy they got the cut, and they should be celebrating this week. But the reality is, Warner Media isn't celebrating. Warner Media isn't talking about the highs of the downloads today. What are they talking about, Jody? They're talking about it's over. They made it very clear that it's over. That is not what you do when you're celebrating a successful streaming movie. And I see it already, Jody. Andy, you're just jumping. You're making shit up. We don't know yet. HBO Max is going to buy this. But guys, you're in denial, and you're proving the point of how emotional you are. Dan Sarnoff is in charge of all programming for HBO Max. Yes, there's Jason Kilar above her, and sure, he could overrule things. But no, you hire someone like Ann Sarnoff, who has a very impressive resume, and you let her make decisions, and you don't just go, well, no, make more of this. It's very clear. And Jody, you've said this, and Luis, I'm curious your thoughts. Sorry, I didn't mean to keep you guys, but you've heard it too. You both. I mean, they don't want to work with this fan base anymore. They've seen what it means, Jody, and you've heard that from your sources as well, right?
Got sources at Warner Brothers who told me that they instantly regretted since releasing the Snyder Cut and greenlighting the film this summer of 2020. The following month after, they instantly regretted it because they realized they took a whole gallon of fuel and just poured it on the fire. They haphazardly just said, all right, greenlit it. Because that's what the fans want. All right, fine, just give it to them.
And they need money. They needed content for the pandemic.
Exactly. Then once they released and they seen all the people getting attacked on Twitter, YouTube, Variety, the Vanity Fair article was, and then Jody's Corner, of course, they were like, okay, we opened up a can of worms, and they instantly regretted giving the mouse that cookie.
What's so amazing, Luis, I'm curious your thoughts too, but it's like, why are they so okay with Jason Keller, who's the head of Warner Media? But not understanding that anything Ann Sarnoff's doing is clearly with the approval of Jason. Like, Jason isn't coming out and saying, well, no, correction. You don't let someone who's the CEO of your Warner Media programming, which is everything, guys. She's overseeing the programming of all those brands. Now, each brand has its own sort of teams and people that lead, but Ann Sarnoff is who they have to report to say, are we allowed to do this? Do we have the money for this? Yada, yada, yada. You don't let that doesn't happen if Jason Keller is not in the loop as well. So there's no other top, but I'm so confused. Why is Ray and other people giving Jason sort of a pass and sort of assuming this is going? Luis, you got industry insight. What do you think about this? Why are the fans just not? Why are they so mad at us and ignoring the messengers? I mean, I'm mad at the messengers, but ignoring the facts that these are the gatekeepers who are now very clearly saying it's done.
Because basically they've labeled us, Jody's Corner and Popcorn Planet and others, as the access media for some reason, and they're the bottom feeding media, meaning they don't know anything about anything and they get views by it. They don't even denounce. Jody's been saying for 5 years, talking about all the attacks consistently. They played his videos on there. They never ever once, and I do watch you guys. You guys are idiots, because keep your enemies close. But they never once separate themselves from the comments Jody's been told. All the attacks Jody's been talking about, they've never ever denounced those attacks. Meaning they don't care. Never once. Who has done that? Please tag us, because Jody would say, "Hey, you guys are calling me the N-word. You guys are making fun of." I don't even want to repeat it, Jody. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. I understand.
I don't even want to repeat it, but never once did you clowns ever freaking say, "Hey, look, we like Snyder's vision, but we want, we don't agree with these insults and stuff and personal attacks." You guys never did that. Warner Brothers sees that. They saw that. Warner Media, whoever, they're all the same. AT&T, Warner Media, and Warner Brothers, they're all the same. No way are you going to shoot yourself in the arm. They're all part of the same company. That's something else that, they don't understand.
Well, they would never.
Real quick, I got one more thing. I said that the Snyder Cut did not exist 2 years ago. 2,500 plus more VFX, $70 million more. Zack Snyder himself saying there's no such thing as a Snyder Cut, just raw footage. And the head of HBO Max saying there's no Snyder Cut. And they still said I'm wrong?
Yep.
When the actual people who created it are saying there's no Snyder Cut.
Correct.
Now there is a Snyder Cut. Yeah, now, but not before. And they're still coming at me from stupid crap from before. Sorry,
right, and no, you're good. And you echo that point. And they're on a stream with Zack Snyder making fun of the fact that people like John Campea said there's no Snyder Cut. There wasn't. There isn't one. There wasn't a finished Snyder Cut. Now I believe there was an assembly cut or a working print that he didn't finish, like
raw footage.
That's what we've said all along. And it's like that's clearly he didn't have his finish. All he shot was the epilogue, really, and some effects. You're right. He added the effects, color, that stuff. But you are proving the point of they don't accept anything. They won't accept unless Zack gets his way, and that's where things get dangerous. But I want to also echo on Jody what you said in your video, because you called out an old colleague of mine. I didn't even know, because I genuinely have stopped.
And
watching.
I didn't even plan on it. I'll let you guys know that Andy didn't tell me nothing about it. It just came to my head. I remember he came to my head as I was spewing it out, talking about fake YouTubers and how they cave to toxic fandoms and switch up because they don't want to get the hate. And that's when that guy came to my head that Andy's going to tell you about.
Well, there he is. And echo. I only say this because I went and watched it myself. And I know this guy. He wants to claim I don't know this guy, but I'm going to use it just because you go and look. he got a lot of views and he got a lot of attention because it was the easy way to do it. And you know why I think he did that? I don't know. Here I am guessing a bit, but I can only assume he did that out of fear. He did that out of fear because so many people have been bullied into, you have to like this or else you're going to deal with the cult. I can't tell you how many people were going to come onto that Nerd Wars about the fan, and they were like, I don't want to deal with it. I can't deal with the fan base. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to touch it. People who were okay with it. Like, I think there was a lot of people who were sort of in the middle on this movie, myself included. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Meh. It's not a good movie. I'm sorry. It's a better movie because it's longer. Yes, there's some more characters, but it's still about sky beams and mother boxes. And I'm sorry, it doesn't.
Terraforming Earth.
A bunch of characters that I have not, been engrossed with before now. I'm not going to suddenly change my ways and be like, oh my God, this is the best masterpiece I've ever seen in my life. I admitted it was better than I thought it would be. I gave it some credit. I have. There are some cool sequences. I thought the third act was fun. I'm being honest, but at the same time, is this the best movie since Sliced Bread? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But to see these people just gush over this movie now, Dan included, it's embarrassing. I don't believe him for a second. I don't believe it for a second.
Throw up.
And there's so many people out there that you can tell, I really genuinely believe it, they're doing it out of fear because Zack has allowed and encouraged his fan base out there to be vicious to people if they go against him.
Yes.
He does not want critics to be against him, and it's all coming to light. And then the irony of this week where he had to call out Geeks and Gamers as, oh my God, it was just so funny to see him he had to finally call out a fan.
Really sad.
It was really, and it was and it made him look stupid and I defended Geeks and Gamers like, dude, they raised you $60,000 for charity. Yep. You show up to his base and you're going to talk smack to the crowd that just watch that have encouraged. And honestly, I think that didn't help the cause either. The downloads and the movies, I bet you a lot more people torn at that movie that weekend because of what he said in that stream, and it just shows the hypocrisy and idiocy of him. That I haven't been negative to him, but now I am because I believe he's encouraged it. He said as much, right, Jody Lewis? He said there was no toxic part of the family. Later, when pressed, he did say, "Well, yeah, I don't encourage that, whatever," but he did not come out just blame it like Ann Sarnoff just did. Ann Sarnoff just came out and said, no, it's unacceptable. And it wasn't just the threats. She made it very clear, this is unacceptable. And when Jody, when you saw that, I had the same feeling. Like to see someone in charge finally lay it down and say what it is was so encouraging. Yeah, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I felt like a kid. I wanted to weep. Seeing those words from this woman, reading those words that I've been waiting for Warner Brothers to spew for 5 years. The 5-year accumulation just came upon me in that moment, and I had to cut the video short because I knew it would have turned into something totally different. I started to get really emotional because I've been waiting to read those words since 2016, and finally reading those without reading the article and doing it kind of like live, it wrecked me. And I'm so proud and happy of Ann Sarnoff for doing that. She came in like a straight superhero and said that with such conviction and vigor. I don't know her like that. I knew when she got into the position a couple years ago, but she's been relatively quiet since then. So for her to come out now in this fashion on the Monday after the weekend of SnyderCut's release and say this, she might as well have put a cape on, man. I really see her in that light as a superhero. That's how she made me feel. It's like she reached her hand out and liberated me and said, Jody, I see you. I know. I felt like she was talking to me.
Right.
She may have been, because it was obvious to me, the interviewer, and I want to give that person props for asking the questions like a fan would ask.
Yes.
No holding back. A few minuses for using the word Latinx, of course. I'm looking at you. But anyways, the questions were freaking perfect. And like what we would ask as fans, is there an air cut? They even stopped the air cut. Not even the Snyderverse.
Jody didn't see that
put
yet.
A cap on the air cut.
Oh, spoiler.
Spoiler.
Oh,
Jody.
I'm sorry.
Jody stopped halfway. He'll find tonight, but we're gonna watch live tonight.
Shit.
But she lays the hammer down, Jody.
Tonight, 5 o'clock live. Freaking Lewis.
It's gonna be
on a
fire.
piece of the,
but dude, there's more. There's more. But on the but to echo what you're saying,
you weren't spoiled.
But it's okay. But for those that read the article or watched the video, But yeah, you're right. She laid the hammer down and just was like, enough is enough. But I want to go back to this comment of just this is her response to that. Here's Zack Snyders. Oh, that's BS. It's a bunch of BS. Toxic fandoms don't raise $200,000 for suicide prevention. Oh, the irony. Oh, but the $60,000 worth of suicide prevention money, you can't endorse, Zack. You damn Hypocrite?
Hypocrite.
I mean, hello? What the hell are you? I want to repeat that because this is why it's personal to me, because I've always had a sense that he knew exactly what he was doing the whole time, and he's proving it to all of us. He's let his fan base just torture us and send us the worst things you can think about. Not just like, Andy, you suck or whatever. I'm talking vicious hate. Terrible hate.
Can I come
mention
in and
my
just say
kids and
something real
stuff?
quick?
You can, but I want to echo. When pressed, and Sarnoff, hero, says we are not tolerating any of that. It's reprehensible. No matter what franchise you're talking about, what business you're talking about, it's unacceptable. I'm disappointed in the fans who have chosen to go that negative place with regards to DC with some of our executives. It's disappointing because we want the safe place to be, yada, yada, yada. We are not about that. We are positive. We don't want a culture of canceling things that any small faction isn't happy about. And here's where Zack Snyder says, it's BS. How can they be toxic if they've raised 200? I think it's sour grapes. There's no way about it. We know the people who are where was the line of stuff. How his fan base isn't toxic? How can they? Where's the direct quote? I thought I had it.
Right there.
Here it is.
It's just a bunch of BS. Up.
It's just a bunch of BS. In regards to that toxic fandom, it's a win for toxic fandom. Again, what is this toxic fandom? Raised hundreds of $2,000 worth of suicide prevention. How is that a toxic fandom? Probably achieved more than any other fan base and done more good than any other group. I don't understand. He doubled down. And then meanwhile, Geeks and Gamers raises you $60,000. But somehow you have to separate yourself from them, you hypocrite.
But they're toxic, though.
You are such a damn hypocrite. Yes, it's personal for me. I'm sorry for those of you who enjoyed the movie, but damn it, you guys don't understand behind the scenes all the drama we've hit. But yes, Jody, what were you going to say?
You're laying it out the way I would have laid it out. Such hypocrisy by bringing in that quote that he said about his toxic fandom. And that's the main thing that has been spread throughout this whole entire narrative from 5 years ago. Hypocrisy. Guys, what was at the end of Zack Snyder's film, he dedicated it to someone. Mm-hmm. Who did he dedicate this film to?
His daughter.
His daughter. Anytime you call out his toxic fandom from being toxic, the number one defense for how could they be toxic, as said by Zack himself in this quote that Andy just put up, what do they say, Luis?
How could his fans be toxic? They raise money for suicide prevention.
Correct. But me, a person who has actually lost his daughter. I lost my daughter in 2018. So I could actually feel where he's coming from. His same fandom that says we are raising awareness for his daughter, why are you critiquing it because of his daughter, are the same ones that call me and tell me in my comments, in my DMs on Instagram and Twitter, F your dead daughter. What is that?
Doesn't exist,
this is
according to him.
Hypocrisy on the highest level.
Doesn't exist. It's BS, Jody. What are you talking about? That's what he's saying. So to hear someone who's actually in charge lay down the hammer like this and say, no, enough is enough. You're damn right. This is personal for us. And Ray Fisher is a whole nother part of it. Jody hasn't watched that, and he'll be reacting live tonight. I implore you. I can't wait to see his reaction to that. But Ann Sarnoff says some things to Ray that we've been trying to say forever.
Oh,
and I got to tell you, I got to tell you,
my God,
this is personal for Ray. And people are like, Andy, why are you? I can't believe you don't stand for Ray. My life was destroyed by misinformation. I refuse to let anybody, I don't care who they are, you don't get to come out and cancel people and try to destroy lives and say, these people need to be fired forever, never be, blah, 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 blah. No, you don't get to do it unless you give me specifics and evidence. Hearsay doesn't fly with me. I'm sorry, Ray. I don't stand with anybody who tells me about something they heard in a room that he wasn't in. That's unacceptable to me, the way Ray has handled this. And he's an embarrassment to real victims because, I'm sorry, don't stretch it out and don't tell me what happened. Because that makes it seem like you got nothing. And a lot of people are coming around to where Jody and I stood. Again, nobody had our back then. We have faced so much criticism for standing up against, well, Ray, what happened? How dare we ask him what happened? It's insane to me that people are still, to this day, what are you talking, Andy and Jody, you're hateful. How dare you don't stand with Ray? For what? To claim that...
For wanting facts?
What on earth is happening?
Evidence? Due process? These are things you need before you cancel and condemn somebody, let alone a whole entire corporation, which is what Ray Fisher, aka Ye Fisher, was trying to do. And that goes to the exclusive that I covered about a month or two ago, that exactly Zack Snyder had a plot and a plan to take down Warner Brothers, and this helps reinforce that. This was all a plan that has failed, but it's a plan nonetheless.
And it's a plan that's not over. And Luis, Jody, thank you for being here. This is, as much as we want this to be over, and this is a positive day, it's not over, because I'm hearing things. I'm hearing Zack is biding his time, waiting to sort of attack John's Toby with more damaging evidence as to what they did to him. And so this, to me, is the warning shot that clearly I think Warner Media is aware. Okay, we got to cut the ties. We got to cut the ties with this fan base, with Zack himself. It's over. And I think this is only the beginning of the war. I think both Zack and Ray are not going to accept this. And they're going to throw some shots out. Zack's playing it like, I don't want to do any more movies. It is what it is. Sure, I think he's doing that because he knows the writing's on the wall. And I think the reality, though, Andy Damas, just you wait. Zack Snyder's got more to say. An expose on Warner Brothers is coming where a lot of stuff's going to come out to warrant, how dare you, Warner Brothers, because this fan base is never going to stop. They refuse to stop. That's why you don't give the mouse a cookie, because they want him back and in charge. And here's the studio's like, we gave you your cut, we gave you all the money, and it's not enough. That's terrifying. And so, yeah, I'm taking some personal praise right now, because I'm enjoying this a little bit, because not to the fans who enjoyed it, to all of you who enjoyed it and you're bummed, I'm sorry, man, but you should have called out the hate more clearly, because you reap what you sow. And too many people ignored it and were afraid to stand up against it, and they took over. And enough is enough. So bravo, and Sarnoff, Warner, thank you for standing up for the majority of fans here to try and bring back some sanity and just normalcy back there. I don't love all the stuff. Just hiring stuff for diversity's sake gets me nervous. I don't understand exactly what's going on from a plan, but I like some of what I hear there, and I'm glad you're standing up against this fandom, and you're going to stop just giving in to these people. But final words are across the bend. Luis, you wanted to say something as we wrap up.
Yeah, I'm a DC fan. I know Jody probably doesn't care if this happens or not. I'm gonna formally ask here, Zack Snyder, please distance yourself and denounce the people who insulted and offended Jody for the past 5 years with this terrible stuff, just like you did with Geeks and Gamers. They raised $100,000 and you denounced them, and they're doing terrible things to Jody. I'm gonna ask you to please consider saying that you do not approve of this. As a DC fan, could you do that?
Yeah, or how about just sticking to the fact that he says, I'm done, I don't want to make superhero movies for a while. Great. I'd love to see other movies, Zack. Please, let's see some more cool new original stuff. Go do whatever you want to do. It's time to move on. I think you got your cut. Congratulations. Can we move on now? Jody, final thoughts?
I have a favorite lady at Warner Brothers. Her name is Patty Jenkins. Now I have two favorite ladies at Warner Brothers, Patty Jenkins and Ann Sarnoff. Tonight, live, 5 p.m. Pacific time, is the other half of this article discussion with the Justice League. You don't want to miss it.
You don't want to miss it. Go subscribe to Jody's Corner over on YouTube. And my man, Luis, say hello so your face is out there. Luis,
what's up? Nerd Report.
Nerd Report over on YouTube. My two besties over here. We've been out there fighting this good fight for a while, because it has been a fight, sadly. I don't know why it's been a fight. I don't know why they concede to make this war a war. We're allowed to dislike movies, and we're going to keep telling you how we feel. We're going to always keep it real. If you want real channels, these three are the ones to subscribe to, because we're always going to keep it real. And that's the reality here. So thank you to all of you who stood by. Make sure you've hit that subscribe here as well. I'm going to be live tomorrow. It's going to be fire, but make sure you check out Jody tonight, because you're not going to want to miss that one. But man, thank you guys so much for joining. I'm glad we could have this moment. Look, celebration is the wrong word, but to see some of these people get their comeuppance, I'm happy about it. So that's why this is personal for me. So all you guys who just don't get it, or you keep criticizing me, then get the hell out of here. I want to create a community here that's just not going to yell at me every time I say something. You don't have to agree with me. I don't care if you disagree with me, but Jesus, you guys are the worst. Oh, Andy, you don't know. Why are you here. I'm trying to build a
away.
community that wants to hear and engage and have conversation and be challenged, or but civilly challenge me. That's what this planet's about, Popcorn Planet. So if you don't like it, unsubscribing, go to somewhere else, please. I'm begging you. If you can have a civil conversation and respect different opinions, then hang out. We're gonna have some cool ones coming up. Thank you guys for those of you who stuck through and supported in there. I appreciate it. Stay tuned for more. That's all we got here on this Real Talk special. Tune in to Jody Corner tonight live over on Jody's Corner and Nerd Report as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out.